Rivera, Puerto Rico. You know, you talked about it, and the media asked Sebastian about that, saying, hey, nobody was talking about you coming into this week. He says, I don't care. I loved it. This is such a loaded weight class. There were pictures of all the studs in this weight draped around the arena, promoted. Nowhere to be found was Rivera, but here he is in the finals. But right now, trying to dodge some early offense. Moussachaev comes in on the 2, and he fires the opening salvo.
A nice little low single, and Moussachaev is going for a turn, which is something we don't typically see him do often. He's getting to work, but he's called up.
You talk about just steamrolling a continent. That's what Moussachaev did at the most recent European Championships. He outscored his opponents 33-1.
And I want everyone to just look at the beauty and the motion and the power and speed and intentionality of Moussachaev's moves.
In on the single, has the leg elevated near the edge, and it will be a step-out point. Nowhere to go for Rivera, so a quick start. Not quite halfway through, a takedown and a step-out, and a early 3-0 lead. Moussachaev, a Tokyo Olympian, born in Kasanya. He too, much like Rivera, coming off a huge semifinal win last night, knocked off Amuzad, avenging a loss to him. He suffered that setback at last year's Worlds in the same venue, 6-0, but he was able to turn the tide last night. Strong first 2 minutes from Moussachaev.
And Moussachaev is so comfortable with his back to the zone. He's so almost lackadaisical, but so difficult to score on, and such a trickster when his feet are on the zone. Really great keeping him in front by Rivera, not letting him get the angles, get the openings. And he's in a position to score. They're on neutral still, on their knees, but the referee calls him up with no action scored. Rivera might be a really interesting, challenging matchup here for Moussachaev. He likes to keep the opponent in front of him, a really solid base, not giving a lot of openings. He also has that North American style of wrestling that's really gritty, really heavy on the hands, and that's that kind of pace that makes it really difficult for Moussachaev.
3-0 lead here in this first period, 14 seconds to go. Moussachaev on that far side of the circle, and it looks like he'll be content up 3 here at the end of the first period. Quick slap of the hands, respect between these two as they head off into their opposite corners. Let's start with Ismail Moussachaev. Getting to his offense early a priority. He certainly did that.
He certainly did. I do wonder if he's a little bit nervous or, a little bit tired from the weight cut. I don't know. He has come off a little bit more slow than what I would have anticipated. He can score at will, and also when he does attack, it is almost always for 4 points, right feet to back. And Rivera has done a really great job of thwarting his attacks, of even defending that single leg just for a single point out of bounds. So he's done a really great job of keeping himself in the mat. And we know that Rivera has a great offense as well, which we saw against Tevyan.
So let's see if Rivera can get right back into it. Coached by Jeff Buxton, Donnie Pritzlaff. Here at these championships, he talked about how special it was. His parents are actually here watching him, and he said it's been a couple of years since they've actually been in person in the venue watching, and man, has he ever performed for them. But look at the explosion there by Moussachaev. Wow.
And that's the exact type of action that we were anticipating from Moussachaev. He has no wasted motion. He has no wasted time. He does a nice little pass of the elbow right into that double leg for 4.
So now Moussachaev with the big 4-pointer leads 7-0. He might not be done. Still squeezing hard. Rivera wants a restart. He had been looking at the official for a few moments saying, let's blow this thing dead. I want to get back up on my feet.
Now Moussachaev, he's beaten every single person in this weight class, but he's never won the world championships. He's always been in it. but never been on the top of the podium. And so I know that probably weighs on him. We saw so much emotion in him after he won a semifinal, and I don't think he wants to let this slip away. But here we have Rivera in on the legs, on his knees, getting extended. Now in this position, that nice fast motion that we saw, but the referee did blow the whistle. And this referee is a representative of Egypt, refereeing with a hijab for the first time, which I think is just incredible when you see the opportunities for women in the sport of wrestling as athletes, as coaches, and as officials.
Rivera had to backpedal there on the counter shot. Now Moussachaev has him up in the air, and that is going to be it. The four-pointer to end it, and Ismail Moussachaev brings Hungary